Hello all you lovely people. My name is Terry Schiefer. I am a jewelry designer living in Fukuoka, Japan, where my company is based. And we are shooting in my studio in the city of Fukuoka. It is the largest city on the island of Kyushu in southwestern Japan. I've lived in Fukuoka for 20 years. Altogether I've been living or working or traveling to Japan for the past 45 years, and yes, I do speak Japanese. Today is May 20th, 2020, and if any of you are like the rest of me, you are in some sort of lockdown from the coronavirus. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's starting a YouTube channel during this period of quietness on the outside. It may be in your city, most of the shops and restaurants, places that you can go, the parks are all closed. The schools have been closed since February, and they're just thinking about getting children back into school later this month or maybe in June. In any case, this is my very first video on YouTube. I had actually planned to do this last fall. I bought the equipment in late spring, early summer. I had the lighting, the camera, the mics, everything. But my fall schedule got really hectic with shows and events around Japan and travel to other distant places, so I was not able to get things going. But now I'm all set up, and we're going to give this a try. Let me tell you just a little bit about me. This is my third career. I grew up in Los Angeles and went to Japan when I was 18 for the first time. I did my graduate studies at Harvard Business School and at the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy in Boston, so I lived there for a while. I loved that place. And initially I was a banker, worked for the Bank of Boston. I left the Bank of Boston after just a little less than 2 years and formed my own investment company. Eventually moved that company to Phoenix, Arizona. We did quite well until very late in my 30s. Then Black Monday came along and kind of put a damper on a lot of the things that I was doing. So I had to shift gears. I brought a very famous company. I won't tell you who they are now, but I brought a very famous company that's been around in the United States for many, many years, and I started their operations here in Japan back in the 90s and spent most of the 90s with them until they got bought out by a Dutch company. And then I just took a rest for a couple of years. And I found myself in Japan with lots of connections here again. So I was already in my late 40s by that time and really didn't want to start a new career. But as things would have it, I like jewelry, as you can see, and so I decided to give it a try. And it's been a very good business for me for the past 15 years. And it's been completely based in Japan. You can find me on the internet under tsxx.jp, or you can just look up my name on Google and see what I've been doing. My name's right here in the back, Terry Schiefer. You can see the spelling if you want to look it up. I'll put the links in the comments below this video. The purpose of me doing this YouTube channel is not to promote my jewelry necessarily, although I hope that that's a side benefit. I've already told you that I was a businessman. I studied international law, diplomacy. I love science. I love social issues. I like to read. I like to stay up with what's going on in the world. And so I'm hoping that what this channel will be is a forum for discussing things that are important to the new world that we are moving into after the coronavirus. It's not going to be very much like it was up until last year. I've heard some of the people that I follow and work with and are friends with talk about us being in a 75-year nap since the Great Depression, and here we are in the next one, 75 years later, and it should be interesting. I'm not all that worried because in my experience, my business experience, downturns in the economy, although they are rough, they also create lots of opportunity. And so maybe that's one of the topics that we want to talk about. What are the opportunities that are available, and what do you want to do? I'm going to be having some guests on my show as well, some in Japanese and some in English. Entrepreneurs, a few famous people. I do have several famous clients. I'm not going to talk about them yet, but we'll get them on as time permits in the future. I'm hoping to do a video about once a week. What I would like to do with this video is just introduce myself, and I would like you to take a moment, think about the kinds of things that you would like to hear on this channel. I know that a lot of you that are watching this perhaps have wanted to travel in Japan, have wanted to live in Japan, maybe work in Japan. Please come. The population in Japan is aging to the point where the workforce has become very difficult, and it's difficult to find people to take jobs. There's a lot of opportunity for employment in Japan, and the cost of living is not nearly as expensive as you might think. If you just want to come to visit Japan, that would be lovely as well. We can talk about that. I've been living here for a long time, and I'm actually more comfortable here than I am in almost any other country, even the one that I grew up in, because I've become part of the community here. So if Japan is one of the things that you want to talk about, I'm happy to do that. If you want to talk about China, which is right next door, I've been there a lot, and we can talk about China, we can talk about Korea, we can talk about Southeast Asia. One of the things that I know about going forward here in the new economy after the coronavirus is that the countries in Asia, especially Southeast Asia, are going to be some of the places where there is real opportunity. Malaysia, Indonesia. Actually, I think my favorite country in Southeast Asia at the moment is Cambodia. Been there a few times, and it's a lovely country and lovely, lovely people. Easy to move around in and very hospitable. There are things that you have to take care of, but we can talk about those kinds of things too. Other things that you may be surprised at. I am even though I'm in the fashion industry, I'm a nerd at heart. Okay, I love studying math, science, biotechnology, anything that I can get my hands on, and any time that I can get time to study, I love studying that. I like astrophysics, cosmology. I read a lot. I'm also very, very interested in life extension, anti-aging technology. I've studied that as well. After I was at Harvard in the early 80s, and the head of the Harvard Blood Institute was a very good friend of mine. He's gone now, but I'm well aware of what is going on with life extension research and research on DNA and so forth at those facilities. So there are a lot of topics if you would like to talk about them. So give me your ideas, even if it's something that I didn't list. Give me your ideas and comment on the video. If you want to just tell me that I have only one AirPod in my ear, that's fine. You can do that. I do that for a reason, but yeah, you can do that. If you want to ask about why I look so scary and why I wear sunglasses on YouTube, we can talk about that too. Anyway, this was our introduction. I will be posting a show hopefully once a week, but this is just the beginning, so I don't know for sure. As often as I can get something up, I will. And I invite you to tune in and subscribe, hit the like button, and also punch the bell so that you can get a subscription. And we will be sending out not too many emails, but once in a while let you know what's going on. Anyway, thank you so much for listening up. Bye.